Let's explore a what-if so massive it doesn't just bend the Dragon Ball story. It completely shatters the entire universe as we know it. Today, we're diving headfirst into that absolutely wild timeline.
So let's really let this sink in. What happens when you take the universe's kindest, most pure-hearted soul and have him raised by the most powerful and, frankly, the most unpredictable destroyer? This goes way beyond a simple change in training. This is a total rewrite of who he is, what power means, and what his purpose in the universe is.
All right, here's our game plan for this journey. We're going to start with a quick look at the canon story we all know. Then, we'll introduce that one fateful detour that changes absolutely everything. We'll see what it's like to be raised by a god, watch history itself get rewritten, and finally, we'll meet the new god of Universe 7.
Okay, so before we just go and break the timeline, we've got to set the stage. You have to remember the hero we know and love to really grasp the being we're about to create. This is the story of Kakarot as it was meant to be.
So this is our Goku. The key thing to remember here is that his identity, his kindness, his loyalty, his desire to protect, none of that was baked in. It was forged on Earth, through his friendships and his battles. His environment is what made him a hero. That part is absolutely crucial.
And now, let's introduce the twist, the single point where everything changes. Just one tiny little navigational hiccup in deep space that takes the destiny we just laid out and throws it right out the airlock.
So forget about that quiet forest and Grandpa Gohan. In a 1 in a trillion fluke, Kakarot's pod crash lands on the single most dangerous and most important planet in all of Universe 7. He lands right on the doorstep of Beerus, the god of destruction.
This is where things get really interesting. So what happens when this Saiyan prodigy isn't raised by a kind old martial artist, but instead by the most powerful and dangerously moody beings in the entire cosmos?
You can just imagine it, can't you? Beerus, probably woken up from a nap, finds this kid, and he's not thinking about raising a child. He's just bored. He sees a new toy, a potential sparring partner, something to finally break the monotony of a few million years. And just like that, he decides to keep him.
And his training? Well, forget about the gravity chamber. This is a whole different ballgame. Under Whis, he's not just learning to punch harder, he's mastering ki control, God ki, the energy of destruction itself, and even the fundamental principles of ultra instinct, all as a kid. Stuff he wasn't supposed to encounter for decades.
This upbringing completely changes who he is. The cheerful, naive, food-loving hero we know is just gone. He's replaced by a focused, serious, and almost detached warrior. He isn't evil, not at all, but he's not human either. He has a cosmic perspective because he literally grew up at the center of the universe.
And now, we get to see the consequences. With this new God-tier Goku in the mix, the history of Universe 7 doesn't just get altered, it gets completely shattered. The events we know are basically erased from existence.
Raditz arriving on Earth, it becomes a total non-event. He's looking for a brother who was never there. And on the off chance they did meet somehow, it wouldn't be a fight. It would be a minor annoyance that this new Goku would simply deal with, permanently.
And here, this is where the timeline truly breaks in half. The Frieza saga, the most iconic, defining conflict in all of Dragon Ball, becomes nothing more than a footnote.
Just look at the difference here. The timeline we know had an epic, hour-long battle that tore a planet apart. In this timeline, Beerus probably just tells his apprentice to go clean up a mess. Goku shows up in his base form and it's over in seconds. There's no struggle, no rage, so there's no legendary Super Saiyan transformation. Frieza is just erased. It's not a victory, it's pest control.
And the dominoes just keep falling. The androids were built for revenge against a Goku who was never on Earth. Cell needed the Z-Fighter's DNA to become perfect. Majin Buu was awakened by the massive energy output from the fights on Earth. With Goku gone and Frieza dealt with, the very reasons for these threats to even exist are just wiped from history.
So where does this all leave us? We have a universe where the greatest villains never even got started. But with a divine power like this new Goku, is the cosmos actually safer? Or has it just traded one kind of danger for another? And that's the ultimate outcome. Goku's entire purpose has shifted. He's not Earth's protector, he's an apprentice god. He's a neutral force of nature, concerned with the grand balance of the whole universe, not just good versus evil. And sometimes, balance requires destruction.
And if you're trying to put a number on his power, well, don't bother. The numbers become completely meaningless. Comparing this Goku to the one who fought on Namek is like comparing a tidal wave to a drop of water. He has completely transcended the mortal scale.
So let's just be crystal clear about what he's become. He's not a hero anymore. He is a successor, groomed from birth for a single purpose, to one day take Beerus' job and become the new god of destruction.
And that's the final, really unsettling question I want to leave you with. A universe without villains sounds great, right? But what if it also means a universe without its greatest hero? Is a reality watched over by a being with this much power and so little humanity truly a better place? Thanks for joining me on this What If journey.